So this is an interesting topic. The question is, how do you push anybody in a free country to do anything? I mean, I know why I would be pushed into a potential job I don't want to be in, because I don't want to starve, and it would take me a long time to walk to Alaska. And even if I did, that doesn't necessarily mean some fucking game warden's not going to come over to me and arrest me. And then at what point in time is, I pushed to stay in jail for the time that they determined to be correct on their standards? Now, hang on here. There's a McDonald's in every country, and in every state, fucking damn near every country. A Burger King, congruency. If not that, you got an Applebee's or congruent to that, Carl's Jr. Sure, whatever. These are restaurants. Let's ask that guy. How's Sunbucks doing, buddy? I mean, do you think the ground operations on that for the inventory and the system that comes in for the stock dollars, Walmart, come Christmas time? I mean, honestly, given winter in Russia up here, I mean, what else can you do, really? I mean, you could shovel snow. I suppose you could work in the salt mine. But it would be pretty fucking hard to do anything else to get not pushed around by gravity, right? Right, Putin? So it brings us up into the questions. How do you push anybody into one of these things? What's your demographic? That'd be my first question. Oh, you thought it was a region of people that did a thing because you didn't want to be president today. You didn't want to work physics. You didn't want to go to it. Well, why do you need a 1,000-page system? You're not building a building. You know what I mean? You're not saying inside of here or a 10,000 page. Is that what it is? 1,000-page bill as you're passing something through here. Instead of being sensible, we already have one bill. That's a problem with it. We need to either adjust that problem. Here's a new type of murder. Not necessarily first degree or second degree, but a smaller aspect of what that degree is. Here's the crime on those things. They did something wrong. Here's the incident report. That's what that does. Maybe some crypto stuff. We need regulations on crypto. Well, where would the heat be? Why wouldn't you just do it on that part of the system? These things will be presented to be illegal. If you're found to do that, we will break up your system. Who did that one earlier? It was Facebook and Twitter and Biden being sued over social media stuff about masks. That's what it was. So one of the things is there's a carrot and a wrench to it. They'll give you a reason not to or to do it. Here's a bribe or a monetary. Facebook will buy Instagram, and everybody else is pissed about that because that's that. But the business owner's like, well, you do the trajectory on the long game of it, bunch of work, or Zuckerberg could just pay me a lot of money, and I'm happy. My crew's happy for the thing that I invented. And everybody else in the world is going to have a damn problem with that because they don't want to use it, but meanwhile there's a sensible, good aspect of it. Lots of times that's happened. Businesses didn't want to do the business. They got bought out and didn't have the heart to do that, but they didn't have to. It didn't necessarily mean they had heart. It mean they had heart to their family more, or whatever system that they were doing. Hell, maybe they had another project. That's fair. I mean, what would a state representative have alternatively on the roster other than the people? I'm confused. So again, I gotta ask, Democrats pushed into passing spending bill. Why wouldn't you just do a small part of any one of those sections and strike this bill down at the door? Too large, too many moving parts, too many systems. We're not asking you to make a new German Hadron Collider clock. We're asking you to take one of the problems that exist today, identify it, and find a solution to that problem. How about heroin in Philadelphia, New York, Chicago, California? How about just the homeless before you pack it all in one bill? Take it apart, pick it apart like Bernoulli, start changing those values in terms of identifying the budgets in that region, how far they do it. Yeah, Newsom, I'm talking to you. Inside of there, Como, got anything you'd like to fucking add inside of here before you pack out? Or if he's already gone, I don't remember. Inside of here, how about you, South Dakota? I mean, you got 1 of 50 to go inside of here where we could have a virology lab going through on all of them to work on independent or local variances on COVID, to study it and adapt it into the strain variables that might pop up. cross-contamination from these different bats or humanized rats inside here, and how that adjusts inside the system. You steal the program, you put it in the college, you make the students study that there. As they do that, they gain degrees inside of this system that'll help them identify one of those problems when they get into doctoring later on as a PhD or a private practice or something like those things, to actually know the numbers. Keep it on the grade roster, a part that they have to go through, headed by somebody that is camped through those procedures and protocols and knows them well enough on the test to beat anybody by the standard. I mean, how do you tell on the ASVAB unless you get 100%, right? Or 99%? Well, that would be the only person you choose. Blind study, raw marshmallow experiment, over to the Stanford experiment. Obviously I'm bigger than you, so I can hit you. I mean, it always comes around. It never just it has portions, fractions, and standards inside of there of its total value.
Let's
but
go to Art Laffer, the former Reagan economist.
Here we are, 2021.
Looking at all of this, Art,
I could give a shit about the solar cycles and over, under, up, down on ice caps in the stock market today, but hurricane numbers being the lower index this year for what the seasons say.
And if you haven't got that
You have to look at the overall index to tell me what that's going to trajectory to. If you do not put that graph up there, you are wrong. You can't explain that graph calculatively to say cyclical transitories over the year, this is what they look like. That's how you explain it. That's something real. You'd say, well, then by that ratio next year, not 50 years from now when the world explodes, you would say that the coastline is going to come up this much, and it'll come up that much. You have to identify the problem. Hey, you got the money to determine safe places to be. You don't like the vote? Leave. Retire.
All right, so play this out for me. Time is running against Democrats at least getting this done this year. Now, I could be wrong. They can move fast and try to, certainly to get the bipartisan infrastructure.
Let's just go out here. Find me one problem, please. Just one, and then fix it. If I go out there and I find a bigger problem than you, can I boot you in the balls so hard that you land on Mars? How about the workforce program?
But I could be missing something.
Is there every job inside of here identified to how many companies they need? How about their workforce program? Why do you need 20 different recruiting stations and the IM and Indeed and Monster.com? Clearly it didn't work. Why wouldn't you make it a federal program? How about 2 years after high school, mandatory service for everybody so we can actually get them grafted? College kids still get their pay? Why? Because mommy and daddy don't want you to serve for your country? Will you make enough bullshit to send a bunch of Marines over to die for you?
They lose the House by a landslide.
I guess that makes you the unknown soldier behind those chains and rails, right?
Then it's a real problem for the Biden administration.
Then it's over. If you don't do it
because you're soldiering through as the wimp particle here, right?
Advantage of the slim majorities you have, and even among that majority, you mentioned